We're joined today by Dave Watson, who has recently had an incredible story to tell, and we're blessed that he's come to tell us that story. Throughout our angling lives, we all achieve certain milestones, and it's going to be very, very interesting to hear your story, Dave. Quite a milestone of a situation you had recently, and as every angler's story is their own to tell, we'd love to hear yours in your own words. So tell us about that eventful session, Dave.
Hi, Andy. Well, thanks for having me. Recently fished Sandhurst. Probably one of the best day tickets in the country. We booked it as a group, like a lake exclusive. We arrived there on the Sunday, spoke to the bailiff, had the walk around, and talking to the bailiffs. It was fishing slow. There was only like 7 fish out the week previous to us.
Right.
Walking around, the lake was pretty weedy, and we thought, this is going to be tough. So we've done the swim draw, and if you haven't fished Sandhurst before, I've fished a peg called the Island.
Right, okay.
It's quite a good peg, does quite a few fish, one of the better pegs on the lake. And so fishing was slow for me to start with. Lads in the group we'd had, 7 or 8 fish in the first couple of nights.
Okay.
And I struggled really, I thought I'd got it wrong. And then Thursday morning, we turned up on a Sunday, we were off on the Friday.
Right, yeah.
So Thursday morning was my first bite. I hadn't had a bleep or anything up to that point.
Right, wow, okay.
And a lad previous, just down the lake from me in Peg 1, he'd caught a fish called Patch at 42 pounds.
Lovely.
And 7 hours later, a lad in another swim just up caught the same fish.
No way.
Yeah, so it got caught twice within 7 hours. And then that morning, about 7 a.m, 2 bleeps on the left-hand rod. And walked down to the rod. You're just clicking away. You could tell it was a slow bite.
Sure.
Picked into it, and felt good up from the off. Played this fish, in and out the weed beds, and it came up out in the lake, a couple of rod lengths out, and just looking at the head of it, you thought, that's a 30-pound common.
Nice,
I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that. Save a blank. Netted it, and wow, just the width of it. It was just take the weed out. It uprighted itself, and you could just tell that you've got something special in the lake, in the net. And I knew from the off what it was, because it had been out previous at 49 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, what a buzz! Just amazing.
At this point, Dave, I guess after a few days blanking, I guess the heart's pounding anyway, right? With the rod going off at such a historic venue.
I'm not being big-headed, but usually I wade in with a few fish. And,
right, okay.
To sit there for 3-4 days and nights, and you're watching your mates catching the other side of the lake, you're thinking, what have I got wrong here? It's
sure, yeah. Letting it go.
I even re-leaded the spot, put the grappling lead through it, and I'm like, no, I'm clean, I'm presented, and But so for my first bite to be, the biggest fish in the lake.
Did you recognise the fish as it went across the net cord, or
no, not at all, because it had a bit of weed on it. I just thought it was like a 30-pound common, because it's not a very long fish.
Right.
So it wasn't until it was in the net and it uprighted and it just ballooned in width and depth.
Okay.
And I thought that's either one of a couple of commons. Sandhurst has got some good commons in it.
Absolutely, it has, yeah.
And for this one to break a bit of a record for Sandhurst, the first fish to ever go 50 pound.
So what was the exact weight, Dave? When
50 pound 4 ounces.
50 pound 4 ounces, and the first 50 pound Sandhurst fish, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So tell me about that feeling, obviously, seeing that going over 50. Did you know that nothing had gone over 50 before at Sandhurst?
No, we knew it would. Those previous capture had come out at 40, 48, 49s. Talking to the bailiffs, a few of the bigger fish in there have been putting on the weight quite recently. and he said, "Oh, bubble tail, if it comes out, could go 50." And it did by a few
Wow.
ounces. But yeah.
So tell me about that feeling. Obviously, when you realised that, how did you feel at that point?
Just shock, really. More shock than anything. You got your friends. You got your friends with you. We put it on the scales. I've got digital scales, and it went like 50, and it's bouncing around, and just everyone put their hands on their heads, and
Wow.
UK 50 hugs and all that, and yeah.
Fantastic, and that's what we do it for, right? It's what keeps us going back.
It is, yeah. It keeps the fire burning, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, and the strategy, what did it fall to in the end? Was it a standard, or was it something complex? How did you go about?
So strategy-wise, I mean, us as a group, we first fished Sandhurst in 2020.
Right.
So we've been learning the lake. We book it once a year for a week.
Sure.
So 2020. And we've learned that the fish in there sort of like smaller baits.
Okay.
So like your 12mm boilies, bit of sweet corn, bit of pellet. They don't like, we've always done better on smaller baits. So, I was just using 12mm DNA boilies, the bug. With a few liquids and, a bit of salt, which is always a classic, pre-spawn.
Sure. Yeah.
And it just came off like a pink wafter. Pink is a good colour in there.
Right. Okay.
And I was going back through my photos from 2020 when I first went. I've used the same rig, same hook bait every time I've been, and it's always done me good fish. It's just I don't know what it is in it, but it works.
Whatever it is, but may it last a long time.
Exactly. Huh? Yeah. Because my PB previous to Bubble Tail was from Sandhurst. I had that patch common I mentioned earlier at 40 ounces.
That's an incredible story, Dave, and great angling, obviously there from you, and well done, obviously, on your achievement.
Yeah, thank you.
But I understand that there's something else quite special happened during that trip for you, I believe. Is that right?
It did, yes. So, you catch a big fish like that, you think, oh, what do I do now? I've caught the biggest in the lake. Shall I wind in, just go and chill with the lads and have some beers, some nice food? But I thought, no, the anger in me, I've got one more night. Could I brace it with something else? So, I went and had breakfast with the lads, got back round, did the rods for the evening. And, the morning we were leaving, the bailiff had turned up and I'd had a bite. Same rod, same spot. And, it was another good fish. Played it in, went over the net cords, thought that's a good mirror. Weighed it, 44 pound, 5 ounce.
Wow.
Mirror, one that doesn't come out very often, one called Phoenix.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Quite a rare visitor by all accounts to the bank, this one. But to
Lovely.
get two bites, my own 2 bites of the trip, coming in at near 96 pound in weight is just, yeah.
I was just going to say, bringing in 2 fish at just under £100 is...
I mean, most of the lads, they were catching 30-pounders, some stockies. My second fish could have been anything from that, but for it to be another 18 fish was... Yeah, at that point, my mind was blown. It was just... I was still buzzing off the 50 and the messages.
Yeah, I bet you was.
Off people online, and DNA and all that.
I mean, what an incredible trip, what an incredible journey. I can only imagine what the emotion you must have been elated going from, potentially facing a blank to...
Exactly. But it's just just goes to show, just sit on your hands, really. Just what, Tuesday I was tempted to move. I could see across the lake, peg 6. There was fish showing all afternoon. And I thought, if I didn't get a bite tonight, I'm moving. But luckily I didn't move, and it paid off.
Yeah, exactly. So where do you go from here? What's the...
from here, I'm on a syndicate that's got a mirror in it that's slightly big. That goes 51. So
okay.
Autumn is the target for there. We've got a few trips as well. We've got one trip with the group going to Burfield, Blue Pool and Gold Lake. Just a bit of a social.
Very nice.
And that's it, really. Just get back on the syndicate, really.
Well, Dave, listen, thank you very much for sharing your incredible story with us.
No problem at all.
It's been fantastic to hear about and I'm hoping it will inspire anglers out there to carry on doing what they're doing and enjoying our wonderful sport.
Exactly.
And what I'll do is I'll look forward to the next instalment when we speak, when you've caught that 51 from,
definitely. I'll be in touch.
From your local syndicate. Well, look, thanks again, Dave. Thanks so much for speaking to us here at Swimbooker and sharing that story with us.
No problem.
And we'll look forward to hearing about your next adventure when you've beaten this PB, and hopefully you do it fairly soon.
Hopefully. Thank you, Andy.
Take care, Dave. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Dave.
You.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.